This conference will now be recorded.
There we go. Okay, now I've muted. Everybody's on mute. We'll get started in just a minute here, guys. I'll make sure I've got.
Why don't my freaking speaker work?
Good morning, everyone. I think we're on the Brady Bunch.
Good morning. How do I get this to not be? All right, hold on 1 second. We'll get started in just a minute here. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, perfect.
Unmute.
Okay. One second. All right, guys, I think we're hitting critical mass here. I think we've got most of the people on the phone. All right. We'll go ahead and get rolling here. So I'm going to flip this over to view the presentation, the deck here. Just give me a second. And if you can, if you look at the top box where you see view everyone, there's a drop-down menu from there, and you can click on who's talking. And so once I start the presentation, it should just show whoever is presenting along with the presentation. There's screen. Okay.
Do you know where is that?
It's at the top middle. You see where it says view everyone? If you click there, there's a drop-down menu.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Does everybody see that now? GK sales meeting? All right. Let's switch it over to. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. So first off, thank you all for joining us today. Of course, we'd love to be there in person, but we'll settle for a conference call given the circumstances around us here. We've got a lot to cover today. You're going to be hearing from our product and marketing teams, discuss quality control, and finish up with the sales update. That's a lot to cover in a short amount of time, and given the nature of this call, we're going to handle this sales meeting a little differently than we normally would. Rather than fielding questions throughout the presentations, what I ask is that you write down your questions, compile them, and send them to me after we conclude today. What I'll do then is I'm going to consolidate all the questions and send out answers in an FAQ by the end of next week. So I want to get everybody's feedback, give you time to process everything, and then get going with this. And a couple of questions here. Okay. Is the screen blank?
Yeah, you're not, your presentation
Yeah.
isn't good.
Like
It's
on
not-
my,
You're not seeing anything?
We did for a second, but now we just see you.
Oh, okay. Tell me when it's on, or someone.
Let's see. It's
Now.
good, Drew.
no.
Good now? Okay. All right, try this again.
No, we don't. Drew, it goes white when you put it into presentation mode, it seems like.
Oh, okay. So we got to stay in the slide mode. Good to know. Good to know. Learning as we go here. All right. So anyways, like I was saying, we're gonna capture the questions throughout the day. If you can jot them down, collect them, and then send them to me afterwards. I'll compile everything. I'll send out an update to everybody by the end of next week. We'll have it as kind of an FAQ. So we'll hit all the general questions, and then anything specifically I'll address individually with you. As for the goals for today, I thought about this a lot and broke it into two simple categories. So the first are goals for this meeting, what we want to take away here, and then goals for the field beyond this meeting, what we want to do with the information that we gather today. As far as goals for this meeting, I hope that each of you walk away with a better understanding of where we're headed as a company. Know that you have our full support in the field, and that we're working very hard to support you and set up a successful back half of 2020. So basically what I want for you is to walk away with confidence that we are here for you. The second part of our goals today is really for you to take back once we hang up the phone. I want you to leave with a solid foundation of information of the products we review. Know that we're retooling our marketing approach and moving in the right direction, and what that direction is specifically. Also know that we've heard you loud and clear regarding QC concerns and are taking corrective steps. Then the final portion will be how we can plan as a sales organization to get on track during the rest of the sales year. As part of this, what I ask is that you take a few minutes to write down your questions as we go through each of these sections. just so that so when they're fresh, you're writing everything down. Also, please write down anything you found to be especially helpful information or things that were not so helpful so that we can use that to really improve our meetings going forward, whether it's our monthly check-ins or the sales meetings in general. Finally, I want to let everyone know that we have several new reps who have joined us in the past few weeks. These reps are coming over from Motionware, and I've spoken with the reps in the field who they'll be partnering with. And I want to welcome them, as well as all of you, to the 2020 GK sales meeting. So having some technical difficulties as we get through this starting off here, but we'll manage here. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt, our Chief Commercial Officer, to give an update on the state of the business. So actually, before I do that, Matt, this is the agenda for today. I know I sent out an agenda late last week. We incorporated a 30-minute break for lunch just so everybody can get out, grab something to eat, and break up the 4 hours we're planning on spending on this call here. So with that, that's really the goals of the meeting. Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you for the State of the Union, and I think I'm going to give you control of it, or do you want me to keep it as is?
If you could flip it to Erica, please. He's gonna walk us through.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. Okay, where's Erica? Got it? Erica? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. All righty. Can you guys see that?
Yep, we can see it. If you just jump down the slide through, we should be good to go.
Yep. There you are.
All right. So over the course of the next few minutes, myself and Grisha are going to tag team kind of goals of the meeting, State of the Union, addressing changes of the past months, and then Grisha is going to join and give us a bit of a vision for 2020 and beyond. So next slide, please, Erica. So a quick State of the Union, and just to kind of give you guys a real-time update as where we sit today with the business. So as of right now, due to the Pennsylvania state ruling, we are what's qualified as a non-life essential business. So basically in Pennsylvania right now, all non-life essential businesses are shut down. And obviously gymnastics is included in that. We have made some strides in the past few days to be able to begin shipping at some point this week stock orders. There is a fulfillment center listing within the approved businesses, and so we will begin shipping stock orders. So processing shipping stock orders. What that means is stock with embellishment, custom, special order, anything that essentially requires manufacturing will still be on hold. However, the fulfillment of pick pack stock orders will begin to go at some point this week. And so we'll have a full update from the sales coordination team, but that's a great sign for us. It gets us back active. We have now kind of been in our second week of a complete standstill, unfortunately. So this will be a welcomed reprieve from that, and that should begin at some point this week. From a staffing update perspective, at this point, those who are kind of hourly workers who are working on the manufacturing side of things, up until this week, the distribution side of things, are on temporary leave. We'll be bringing that group back as soon as we have the green light to open back up as demand increases and as we as a business begin to kind of come through the fog of it. In the interim, however, all of our customer service team, our sales coordinators, our marketing team, our sales team, our design team are all up and running. And so our goal for this time was to ensure that our business could continue to run, that we can continue to support future business development, and that we as a business could continue to maintain all essential tasks for current planning and future planning. And so that crew is still, while working remote, still operational on a daily basis. As many of you have seen from our Facebook posts, we have begun to repurpose our facility to support the medical community. So this past week, last week, we begun the production of masks and mask covers and what's known as PPE, personal protection equipment. We're also in the process of developing gowns as well. And so while we have not been able to obviously create the core products, swimming, cheerleading, and gymnastics, we have been able to kind of retrofit our floor to be able to support the medical community. So it's something we're very proud of, something the team has worked very hard on. And we've already begun supplying local hospitals, local medical communities, local healthcare providers with PPE during this time of need. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated, but something that, you know, as a company, we're incredibly proud of at the moment to be able to use the resources that we do have for good and for better, and to be able to support our communities in this moment. As I discussed, roles of sales, product marketing during this time, they are fully here for your support. They are working remote. They are there to support whatever you may need and continue to process business as usual. This time, as you guys know, is a very unique time in our, in our life cycle, in all of our careers, and all of our lives. And what our goal was entering this, and Grisha will touch a bit more on this, was to ensure that we're preparing, we're planning, and that we are proactive in how we approach our business. The last component of kind of State of the Union is a USA Gymnastics and Olympic update. So as you guys are all well aware, the Olympics have been postponed to 2021. Postponement is a far better news for us than cancellation. Cancellation would have been a very difficult thing for us to overcome. It would have kind of set off, a really disappointing moment in the life cycle of the sport. And so postponement, well, again, not ideal, is welcomed. In 2021 will obviously be the Olympics. It'll be held in Tokyo, and it'll be starting on July 23rd, 2021. So virtually the same exact time period as it would have been this year. So in this period of time, we have held really close contact and conversation with USA Gymnastics. Obviously, given the time period, a lot of state meets were canceled, regionals were canceled, JOs were canceled, and a lot of the meets at which you guys support and sell out were canceled. And so while many of those are unlikely to be rescheduled given the kind of course of the sport and the schedule of the sport, USA Gymnastics at this time is still planning to hold classics and championships as well as Congress. So at this time, it looks like classics will still be held in Hartford in July. Championships will be held in August, and hopefully Congress will coincide with that event. Championships will either be in St. Louis or in Dallas, Fort Worth, where they originally scheduled. So that's a little TBD. This information is confidential, so I'd ask that you keep it to this team. But the good news is USA Gym is working hard to ensure that we still have the culmination of the season throughout the summer. Obviously that is all subject to change. This situation is fluid. These things are real time. And for us as a business, we are closely aligned with them to support them in any way, shape, or form that we can. And our hope, obviously, is that we are continuing our relationship that will be on mat in Tokyo in 2021, and essentially be running back the playbook that we've discussed in the past for the 2021 calendar with the Olympics. Next slide, Erica, please. So as we go through this period of time, and we're all kind of stuck in isolation. Obviously, we're holding today's meeting in an effort to launch our 2020 competitive catalog, our new products, and really discuss the strategy at which we're approaching the business this year. And as I reflect on this moment, I wanted to talk about what we'll call the 4 Ps. The first is being present. Being present with your customers, being present with your teammates, and being present with the business. Now is not the time to disengage. Now is the time to engage. And being present and listening to your customers. We've talked about this on our previous phone calls, but being there to support them, to talk to them, not necessarily about selling product, but about what's going on in their business, what's going on in their lives. How do we as a business be present for our customers during this time? Second is being prepared to respond, being prepared to support our businesses in any way that we can, being prepared to plan for our season, being prepared to carry out what we hope is going to be a return to normal life. It may not be the normal life that we've had in the past, but there will be a return. Business is coming back, and we need to be prepared when it does. The third P is planning, planning for the eventual reopening. So planning to contact new customers, to engage in existing customers, to make sure that we are prepared for all and planned for all of our upcoming events, whether that's late summer camps, whether that's continuing the work that we're doing with our gyms for athletes that qualify for classics and championships, and planning for the business to reopen and what we can do as a business to be prepared for that moment. And the last thing that's incredibly important during this time is being proactive. Proactively reaching out to these gyms and engaging them in designs for their competitive season, proactively reaching out to new customers, introducing yourselves. In this moment, choose communication versus isolation. Isolation is a crippling component that we're all somewhat dealing with. However, it doesn't mean that we need to isolate ourselves as it relates to our personal affairs, our business affairs, etc. We need to be resources for communication during this period. Proactively plan to reach out to your customer base, see what they're doing. Proactively plan for the fall, whether that's their competitive warm-ups, their training Leos, their competitive Leos. There's a bit of proactivity that we can plan for during this time and begin to send out, whether it's color pictures proactively at a gym that you've never gotten, their team colors, pick 4 or 5 designs, be proactive, send it to them, solicit it to them. For those teams that their style, their taste, be proactive, introduce them as the catalog rolls out, introduce them to the new styles in our catalog, introduce them to new warm-ups, and being proactive in this moment will benefit us in the long run so that we are prepared for when the business reopens. So with that, Erica, if I could transition to the next slide, please. If you can please transition over to Grisha as well and make him the presenter. He has a few slides that he'll be sharing with us as we transition. So I look forward to kind of listening throughout the day. Thank you guys all for taking time to join us. It's incredibly important that we stay connected as a business. I just want to thank you all for your commitment during this period, your trust during this period. And together, I'm confident that this business is going to survive, advance, and become out quite more successful as we go through this period. So with that, I'm going to change presenter over to Grisha. For those, most of you know who Grisha is. For those new to the team, welcome. I look forward to meeting all of you. And Grisha Chandras, our CEO, will now kind of give a State of the Union and a bit of insight into where we're going with the business.
All right, thanks Matt, thanks Drew, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with all of you guys. It's a real bummer not to be in Reading, not to see you guys in person, but we are where we are, and so we're going to make the best of it. And I appreciate the team scrambling to pull this together virtually to keep the ball moving, so we can have a good fall gymnastics season. I have a few slides here I want to walk you through just to give you a bit of perspective from my lens on how I see the business, this weird inflection point that we are at right now, and how I see the rest of the year and 2021 unfold. First, the state of Elite. There's sort of 3 words that I would think about when it comes to Elite. The first is we're adjusting. It's a new world. It's a new environment for us. We've never been through this where we've had events shut down, where we have athletes unable to compete. We've had the state of Pennsylvania in essentially a lockdown. We as a business can't operate in a normal shape. We have customers that are scrambling. We have schools that are closed down. It is a massive adjustment. And so I think the last few weeks, much like you, it's just, trying to figure out how we can engage and how we can accommodate this new dynamic. We know it's a period of time. We don't think it's going to last indefinitely, but how do we take advantage of this, and how do we adjust our operations, adjust our perspective to accommodate this new reality? Second word I would use is we're retrenching. When we have a disruption like this, it's very important to me that we seize the opportunity to make progress on things that we normally would not be able to make progress on. So we've kept a lot of our focus on projects and initiatives to make the business better. We've not slowed down our commitment to improving the business. So whether that is technology solutions, whether that is marketing ideas, whether that's even the sales meeting and building the content and the materials to make sure that we're delivering it for you, whether it's product planning for next year, we continue to focus on building the business for a successful rest of 2020 and into 2021. And we are doing the work that we normally don't get the chance to do because we're so busy servicing customers, servicing the business, servicing the needs of the market that we don't always have the luxury to invest in the things that are necessary to make the business better for the long haul. So I want to use this time and use this opportunity to do those things so that we emerge stronger. And the last thing I would say is we're building resilience. One of the things that I've learned over the years, having gone through 9/11, working leading a business in 9/11, going through the financial crisis, and now through this, is the best organizations have resilience. They have the ability to kind of take a blow like this and come back and adjust and manage and work and fight their way through it. And as an organization, the best organizations have organizational resilience, and that's because the people within the organization have tremendous resilience and don't quit and don't give up and kind of fight through it. And that's what we need to build, and that's what I have implored on the team, and that's what I implore to you guys is, the strongest are the ones that kind of absorb this blow and shake it off and come back, sort of stronger and smarter, and with more sort of fortitude to take on the challenges. And I think we just have to remember that it's going to be really difficult, but we'll get through it, and we just need to kind of fight our way through it. It's not indefinite. It won't last forever. It's just a period of time that's going to test us, and we just need to fight through it. And the best companies know how to fight through that. My line of sight. When I think about the business, I think about it through an 18 to 20 month runway. I don't think about it the next month. I don't think about it through summer. I don't think about it just the fall. I think about us through the end of 2021. And that's sort of my perspective. And the reason for that is this year is going to be a funky year. It's not going to look and feel like any other year we've ever had. The fall gymnastics season will be different. We'll just have a very different market. It's not an Olympic year. It's not a non-Olympic year. It's going to be a unique year. When we write the history of 2020, 5, 10 years from now, we're going to say 2020 was just a really bizarre year. It just didn't have any of the rhythm and the cadence that we would have seen in any other year. I think 2021 has a better chance of being a kind of what we would call a traditional Olympic year. This year is just going to be bizarre. So from our perspective it's not to overreact to 2020. It's to try to maximize and take advantage of this year, but really think about it from an 18 to 20 month runway. And that's been my focus is, do the things that we think are right for right now. And obviously make sure that we're building a great business, but make sure we're building a great business that can compete successfully in 2021 and have that long-term view as an organization. So what that means is the investments. We continue to make a lot of investments. Having the personnel, it's really strange to be in an environment where you're shut down and you can't service your customers and you can't service the needs. And also it's very strange to not to be operating while we're shut down. And that's an investment. That's an investment that we continue to make in the business by keeping the teams together as much as we can, continue to work on projects. We're still spending money on key initiatives. We're rolling out improvements to the website. We're rolling out improvements to our ERP systems. We're making improvements to our distribution center. We're still doing the things that we think are important to build a great business. And that's expensive. And that's expensive this time of year when we don't have a lot of volume. And it's especially painful in 2020 when we're shut down and our customers are unable to to order from us. But I think it'd be a missed opportunity for us not to make the progress we should be making at this time of year for the business. Also, Salesforce support. We spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of time with Drew and with Matt thinking about how to support not just the gymnastics Salesforce, but our swim Salesforce, our all-star cheer Salesforce, making sure that we are thinking about how to support you guys in the field. We know that 2020 is going to be a tough year from a sales perspective for all of you. So we're thinking about how to support you during that time period, how to support you into 2021. And that's taking an 18 to 20 month view. And so we're actively engaging in conversations to make sure that you feel supported and you feel like GK has been a good partner to you during this time, but also a place where you can thrive, even if, for a short period of time, it's been really rough, that you can see how we're partnering with you to get through this and build a successful 2020 and 2021 financially for all of you. And then also our product line. I mean, we now have to kind of adjust our perspective in the investments we're making for 2020. We had a lot of ideas for 2020 Olympic year. We have to recalibrate that for 2021. So we are working pretty studiously on that, thinking about how does 2021 unfold. We're working on some special projects, which I know Matt and Kelly will share in time for 2021. So we've got some side initiatives going on to improve our product line. And that's a commitment to the business and a commitment to providing you with the assortment that you need to be successful and the company support for you to be successful. All right, my outlook. I've got sort of a cautious optimism when I look out. It's cautious because it's a weird time. It's optimistic because I believe that the best brands and the strongest business models survive. And over the last 2.5 years, 3 years since I've been here, I've worked really hard with this executive team to build great brands and to build a strong business model. And because of that, I think we are positioned to be successful. We've been really thoughtful about where we make our investments, how we commit to our customers, how we commit to our sales force, the type of technology we invested in. And that's all with an eye of being a resilient business that can survive through lots of different ups and downs. And I feel really good about where we are right now. And I think, if this had happened maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I'm not so sure we would have been as strong to have sort of weathered this storm. But I do feel much better where we are right now. And I do think we've got great brands. And I do think our business model is built to kind of survive this shock. And I think, we will survive it. My optimism is also based on the fact that our markets can weather economic turbulence. And what I mean by that is what we're going through right now is not really an economic struggle. We're going through this pandemic and this health scare. And once the health scare is beyond us, we will be able to have a business that will thrive and will prosper. One of the things that we've noticed in our businesses is it tends to be pretty recession-proof. So even if we see the economy soften up, I do think our businesses will rebound faster and will survive and will have a chance to prosper during even a difficult economic time. What we have to do is get rid of the healthcare shock, and the healthcare shock will pass. I do think that there is enough commitment and focus now on that, and I do think there's enough optimism that we're finally putting the focus and the attention to dealing and addressing that issue. And I think once we get that behind us, I do think we will start seeing our markets and our businesses rebound faster. I do think a lot of other businesses, a lot of other markets might struggle, but I feel much more optimistic that our sectors will do better. And part of that reason is because our issues need to be solved to have a functioning society. So I feel really good that our businesses will come back, because in order for our business to come back, we need to have a functioning society. You know, we can't be shelter in place in a whole bunch of states. We can't be in lockdown forever. And I do think there is a real movement and a real push to squelch the virus and to get it under control. And I do think more testing and more protocols we put in place with the goal of getting a functioning society back, because with a functioning society, we'll get a functioning economy. And I think as soon as we get a functioning society, we will then see our businesses rebound, because I think kids are going to go back to school. I think kids are going to go engage in their activities. Parents are going to want them to get back involved. And I think we will see our markets rebound faster. And that's a reason to be optimistic, is we will be the tailwind once we see our societies come back into more normalcy. All right. Our support equals our support for you. So we're building a business really with the express focus of supporting you guys in the market. And why I say that is because our financial backers remain bullish. And what you guys should all know is that we've got our financial sponsors, the people that own the business, continue to be bullish about the business. They've supported us during this time. They've been good partners for us during this time. I've worked with lots of financial backers that haven't been great during difficult times. I think ours have been great, that they've been supportive, they've been helpful, and I remain optimistic that we can weather this because we have their support. You have my commitment, you have the executive team commitment. I'm still very committed to this business. I'm very committed to the markets we serve, our customers. I'm very committed to all of you. The executive team remains incredibly committed to kind of weathering through this. You see that with Matt and Drew and the team here on the phone. There's also a broader executive team here that continues to work pretty carefully to support this organization and support this business during this challenging time. And then, that comes from the fact that we've got strong financial backers. So we're all, sort of pulling our weight to get us through this. And we are really committed to sort of working our way through this sort of kind of major hiccup. All right. My ask for you, my ask to all of you is be the Salesforce you would want right now. I think at this moment, I really like Matt's piece that he put up. I had my own alliteration that I was going to present here, but I thought his was better. So I'm going to stick with that. I liked how he framed that. And I think part of that, the 4 Ps that he has in there, is really a reflection of put yourself, it's sort of this big question of empathy is, be the Salesforce. If you were if you were owning your own gym right now and you were going through this, what kind of sales rep do you want to have in this moment? Who would you want to have calling you right now? And I think we should be that Salesforce at this moment. I think we should use this opportunity to expand our business, make phone calls to gyms that we might not have called because we were too busy or we didn't have a good reason to call them. I think we should be the friend. I think we should be we're sort of consigliaries in this moment. I think we're therapists in this moment. I think we are a helping hand. I think we need to be all things for our customers in this moment. And I think when we do that, I think they'll remember who was with them and who lent a hand in this moment and who was helpful. And when it's time to ask them for an order and it's time to build the business back up, I think we'll see a much more receptive ask. It's really difficult to ask for an order right now. There is no orders to be had in most cases, but it doesn't mean that most people don't want a friendly voice, don't want somebody to talk to, don't want somebody to get advice from or get perspective from. And I think we can be those things to those people. I also think it's a chance for us to expand our business and make phone calls and reach out to gyms and to markets that we might not typically have had the time to do or have the propensity to do. And this is the moment to seize that opportunity and expand expand our book. We'll never get this moment where we have this opportunity to reach out and be a helping hand. All right. So those are my main points. I don't think I've got, yep, that's all the slides I have for right now. I'll take a quick pause here. I'll turn it over to Erica. You can take control back. I don't know, if, Matt, if you want to take questions now, or if you guys want to take the questions and then funnel them to me later on.
Sorry about that, Garisha. I think what we're going to do is probably consolidate the questions and send everything after the meeting just to keep things moving along, if that's okay. But I appreciate the update. I think that was really helpful and insightful for everybody to hear the perspective, your perspective on things. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. I will be hopping on and off, but I appreciate everyone's time. And have a great sales meeting.
Thank you, Garisha. I appreciate it.
All right, so from here, we're going to flip over to Kelly to talk about the 2020 line review.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see everybody. Sorry we're not in person, but I am super excited about our brand new competitive catalog. And for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm the Vice President of Gymnastics Product. I've been with GK for 16 years. I've done the catalog for all those years, and this is the very first time in my tenure that this has been done as early as it has been. And I feel that the line is the strongest it's ever been, and very, very proud of it. And I hope that you guys are just as excited as I am to review the line. You guys got your packages a couple weeks ago, or just last week, right before the shutdown. Amber and I came in and we said, we got to get the sales and samples out. We got to get catalogs out. We need to make sure that you guys have the tools in your hands so that we can have this virtual sales meeting. This line is the biggest line that we've ever had, and it's just important that you guys have all your tools ahead of time. And I'm just really, really excited to present this line to you today. So let's see here. Hang on. Do I have the screen? Or Erica, are you going to pull up the?
I have it still, Kelly. I can pull up this piece. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So from a catalog perspective, this is our special order in stock line. We have a women's and a men's version. And the key priorities is to empower the athletes to reach their goals by delivering authentic performance products to make them better. We are featuring new designs and new collections to differentiate GK from our competitors and to increase our market share of GK within the gymnastics industry. As you've looked through the catalog, and I hope you've taken the time to look through some of those key elements, we added helpful icons throughout the catalog that features if embellishments are included, if they're optional, if they're available as a special order, and if they have a coordinating special order and stock style. So these are just some helpful icons to help you navigate this massive catalog. All right. We'll start off with a special order. So from our total gymnastics business, special order accounts for 39% of our total business, and custom accounts for 13%. That is over 50% of the gymnastics market. So this product line is super important. We added 18 new styles to the GK competitive line this year for a total of 92 styles. And the Dreamlight by GK, we added 6 new styles for a total of 38. That is the largest amount of special order leotards in the industry. So when we looked at the design strategy for this year, Jeannie and I were really challenged to make sure how do we make it different? how do we position ourselves to be the leader in the gymnastics business? And these are just some key bullet points. So if you have your catalog with me, I will just pull out and look at some of the designs that feature these key design elements. So on page 6 of the catalog, this is a sublimated style that we designed with 3/4 sleeves in mind. So I know it's very important to our teams to be able to have a 3/4 sleeve option. That particular design stops at the elbow so that it can have the 3/4 sleeve design. We also wanted to create and present elegant backs that are compliant. That was a big deal last year with this compliant back. How do we make them elegant? How do we make them look strappy? And on page 9 of the catalog, this style here features a really cool, elegant back. It gives the illusion of straps, but it's also compliant because it has a full mesh insert. We also referenced some collegiate team replicas. So on page 10, this is University of Michigan replica. So again, these high-profile universities come to us, they create customs, and then using that, we introduce them into our collection. We also wanted to design confident designs that are elegant and flatter the gymnastics body. So on page 11 and page 98 of the catalog, these designs show confident design lines that really just flatter the gymnastics body. We also wanted to include designer looks that utilize unique necklines and sublimation. So on page 32 of the catalog, this design here has a high neck, which we see is very popular. It's one of Simone's favorite. And this high neck features a new Mandarin style collar. We also added several new ruching styles to the collection. On page 33 is one of the examples of the ruching. So this is a mesh overlay that is gathered at the top to give the ruching effect. And then lastly, we have engineered sublimation. We have had a lot of requests for lace, a lace sublimated. So this design here shown on page 35 shows that mesh design, and one of your salesman samples features it in white on Simone. So in addition to our high number of styles, we have GK's brand benefits are better than anyone else in the industry. We have a diverse product offering with more styles than any other competitor. We have high profile athletes that feature the #1 athlete in the world right now, Simone Biles, Laurie Hernandez, Sam McCulloch, Yul Moldauer, and a newly signed Caitlin Ohashi. More to come on that later. We are the only one that has a 3D online configurator, and we have the USA national team support. So as you look through the catalogs, you'll be able to see national team members that were so excited to come to the GK photo shoots and model our products. Some of the product features. So we've been asked just what makes GK better? Why is GK GK? Why have we been around for over 35 years? GK, as everyone knows, has the best fit in the industry. And some of the ways that we get the best fit is by having proprietary 4-way stretch fabric. So a lot of you veterans, this will be, this is nothing new to you guys. The new reps here will just go over some of the key points that make GK what we are today. So our exclusive patterns incorporate a proprietary fit formula. So that in conjunction with our 4-way stretch fabrics make GK have the perfect fit. Our thread, we use a soft stretch thread to construct our leotards that make our leotards more comfortable. We also have a 4-thread overlock seaming, which makes our seams durable and long-lasting apparel. We also, when we stitch our garments, we have 16 inches per stitch. When we looked at some of our competitors, we bought their garments, we deconstructed them, we tore them apart, and most of our competitors offer 12 to 14 stitches per inch. And that's literally, if you look through a loop and you measure an inch, you can see the number of stitches. So this 16 inches gives the best comfort and stretch for our products. We offer quality inline inspections throughout every critical stage of our production department. Our elastic. GK uses the best elastics in the world. We stretch them, we test them, and we hold our vendors accountable for the stretch of our elastics that are provided to us. We also, one thing that we noticed, we use our elastics and our leg lines because that is critical to keep the leotard seated where it's supposed to sit. And also our binding and our straps all include elastics. When we looked at our competitors, when we looked at Sylvia P, their straps and their binding does not have elastic in them. So what that is, it's just the stretch of the fabric, which over time, as you guys know, will stretch out and will not fit properly. We are exclusively Swarovski on our special order leotards. Swarovski is the best jewel in the business, and we are their #1 customer in North America for the purchase of hot fix flat back crystals. Swarovski offers 2 times the brilliance and 4 times the facets than any other crystal or glass embellishment in the world. They also have 10 times the glue on the back of a hot fix to keep your crystals in place. Our cutting, if you've ever been to our facility, you've seen our big cutting machines, and we use a low ply cutter. So that means we don't put, you can stack as many fabrics on top of each other to cut, but the more fabrics you stack on top of each other gives you the opportunity for missing a cut or not having it cut to the specifications we need. And then fit approvals. Every time we design something new and we develop something new, we get a development sample and we get an athlete, a gymnast that comes in from a local gym to try it on and make sure that it fits and that it is the GK fit. So this is included in the presentation. There will also be a flyer that you guys will be able to take. This is information you can share with your customers as a way to just give the features and benefits of what makes GK GK. So just to give you a little bit of a competitive analysis, we know where GK sits in the marketplace. Our main competitors are Ozone, Alpha Factor, and Sylvia P. And we looked at this based off price. I know I've heard over and over again that GK is the most expensive. GK doesn't have the offering, the variety. Well, I'm here to tell you, after we looked at all of our competitors, Sylvia P has some very, very expensive leotards. And we also have very inexpensive special order products like our 2008. So when you look at where we sit in the marketplace, we have expensive leotards and we have some inexpensive leotards, but we have the most variety than anyone else. For our special order warm-ups this year, we adjusted our relaxed fit on all of our styles. So I know you guys are familiar with our relaxed fit warm-ups. They've been kind of boxy. They've kind of had a bat wing fit to them. So we revised all of our fits. So this just shows an example of what the old fit looked like. It had a separate sewn-on collar, kind of boxy in the armpits, but we've kind of sleeked that down, tapered the armpits. We adjusted the collar. It is a nice, clean, funnel style collar on all of our warm-ups. Our cuffs, we added just a cuff detail to our warm-ups, and all of our styles now include pockets. And then our in-stock leotards. This is part of the annual catalog. These in-stock leotards are available for a full year. So we added 17 new GK designs. We added 10 new Dreamlight by GK designs. And what you'll see in the collection, we added matte spangles are featured in our in-stock collection, new fairy mesh, shaped spangles, which we introduced in our World's Replicas, are now available in our in-stock catalog. They are purchased embellishments, so they cannot be changed and they cannot be special ordered or used on custom apparel. We have new designs with elastics. we have a new neon rainbow elastic, which we photographed, we developed, and we found out yesterday, like literally yesterday, that the company went bankrupt. So we are developing a new neon fabric. So this style, it's featured in the catalog 3872, will, thank you, Erica. I'll have a to be determined shelf date for that once we determine where we can find that elastic. Our Gym Tech offering, we added sporty sublimated styles that feature tagless construction and campus stretch tech. So these are comfortable designs, sporty sublimated looks for the team. Our metallic silver nail heads are also featured in our in-stock collection. And I think one of the most important things to point out is our pricing. And like we did with Essentials, we evaluated our pricing to be competitive with the marketplace. So we lowered our pricing in our spring catalog, and then we in turn lowered the pricing in our in-stock collection as well. And you can see on the next page, the in-stock competitive analysis. So I know this is small, but take the time to look at this. We did a lot of work and a lot of analysis when we looked at our pricing for Essentials and in-stock and where we fit in the marketplace. So as you can see, just by the very first line is our GK Essentials. So you can see where we fall. We have our Stars collection at the lower end, and then we have our endorsed athletes at the higher end. And then in the second line, this is the GK in-stock as it was presented and priced last year. So you can see we are way up to the $79.99 price point. You can see a total shift to the higher end of the price point. So when we reevaluated our pricing, you can see in the third line of where some of those styles now fall. So you can see we've made a reduction in some of those high-priced items. We gave products that are offered now at the $39.99 price point, and still some expensive ones as well, based off the embellishments and the designs. And then just to kind of give you, looking at where we sit with our competitors, with Ozone, with Alpha Factor, Plum, Motionwear, Sylvia P, the new Aran line, and then Gilling. We were seated at the higher end of the market, and now with our new price changes, we're positioned more competitively. We have a brand new in-stock warm-up. So this is a fitted warm-up. It is most, I would call it our Lululemon warm-up. So this new stock warm-up jacket is in black Active Tech. So it is a nice black, solid black fabric. It features the new funnel style collar. So it doesn't stand up quite as high, it's a little more tapered. It has an extended hem, very much like the Lululemon style jackets are. And this has a first ship date of June 1st. We also developed a new legging that has bonded pockets and hem. So again, you'll see that this style legging is very similar to the Lululemon and Athleta style leggings that are in the marketplace today. It has a side stash pocket so that you can put your phone or wallet or cards in or whatever. And then the bonded seams and the bonded hem is a new design feature. It is something that we have to make out of house, but it doesn't have the stitching. It doesn't have the seams that sometimes can cause abrasion. And that has a first ship date of August 1st. So right when we're back in the gyms ready to get some warm-ups, our new stock warm-ups will be available. And then our backpacks, we added these, I guess it was mid last year. We added 4 new colors in lime, Kelly green, turquoise, and eggplant. These stock backpacks are in stock and ready to ship now. We still have our in-stock jeweled library. So these are stock crystal embellishments that are available in clear and brilliance, and that can be placed on any of our in-stock products, long sleeve and tanks. On the next page, we feature our new team brand inserts. So we've heard that people want kind of like plug and play. They want something in something that you can put their team name in. So in these scenarios, these are 6 preset designs. You pick your style font, you pick your embellishment, whether it is spangles, crystals, nail heads, and then you'll need to submit that for a quote. We don't have standard pricing on these because based on the size, based on the amount of letters, and based on the embellishment that's selected will affect your price. But we have these 6 designs, and it just makes it easier to be able to put this through the quote process. And we did have a question. Oh, the new leggings are also Active Tech. It is the same fabric. Thank you, Amanda. Okay, sublimation. So sublimation, we have our SBGs and our SBEs. What's featured here is our new SBEs, which is our engineered sublimated designs. This is what I like to call our paint by number. So it has a preset design, and then you pick your style, you pick your design, and then you pick your sublimation colors that go into that, design. We added 3 new engineered sublimation designs, and we also added 6 new fabric SBG styles. So in the collaterals, if you take a look, the SBG styles have their long sleeves. They're just different fabric configurations of our current designs. So just take a look. It just is ABC differently. So you could offer a mesh sleeve or a solid sleeve. It just gives you that flexibility to be able to put a mesh sleeve on those SBG styles. And we have the 3 new SBE prints. This is Pinpoint. This is a new design that we added this year, as well as Chameleon. And then the last one is Dark Majesty. Again, these are preset designs that you can just select your style and select your sublimation colors for these designs. And then this is brand new to the catalog this year. This is our SBP, and P stands for Primatex. Primatex is a new fabric. It is a matte nylon spandex fabric that we have, that you guys have seen in our essentials lines for the probably over the last year. Very comfortable, very soft, and it's matte. We've had a lot of requests for that. And what we decided to do is put these Primatex colors in our special order line for this year, and then also make it available to be sublimated on. So in your care packages that you guys received, you received these sublimation blankets. These are your sublimated Primatex blankets. So the fabric is the Primatex, and then it shows the color palette that you can sublimate on. Each color has a different set of color palettes based on the base color. So unlike when you sublimate on white, you can put any color on white, pretty much, except white. And when you pull it apart, you have that grin through. When you sublimate on a color and you pull it apart, you don't have that same gray, white grin through problem because you're seeing the solid color come through that sublimation. So what we decided to offer this year is we can sublimate on 5 of the Primatex colors. We have 6 preset designs. So again, just like our SBEs, but our SBPs is on the solid Primatex fabric. So you pick your fabric, you pick your preset design, and then you pick a 1 color sublimation that goes on that. So based on this, the fabric that you select is the color palette that you can choose from. So not every color can be sublimated on these colors, because if you sublimate red on red, you get red. And you can't sublimate white on these fabrics either. So we were very particular with what colors could be sublimated on these color fabrics. And you can also add your team name, and you can embellish these as well. So for the 2020 new fabrics, we offered 8 new Primatex fabrics. So these fabrics it is a matte nylon spandex, and because it is the same base as our nylon spandex, you can interchange the AO configurations for nylon spandex versus Primatex. So if you are looking for a Primatex fabric and you look in your special order catalog, the AO configuration is the same whether you pick nylon spandex or Primatex. We also added 2 new Mystiques that feature the pearl. Has the pearl foil on top of it, and that is in our Ocean Pearl Mystique and our Navy Pearl Mystique. We also added 5 new foil meshes. The white opal mesh can also be sublimated on. So in one of your samples that you received is our cover design, and that has the sublimated white opal mesh. And then we added 4 new sublimated colors. We have Lagoon, Magenta, Rose, and Steel, and they are featured on your sublimated color blankets that you guys received in your collection. And the steel matches the steel fabric for the men's as well. That was a request that we had to make sure that our steel sublimation matches our steel pant.
Casey,
and then yeah.
Sorry, Casey, can we embroider on the Primatex fabric?
Can you embroider on it? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Embellishments. So we have brand new embellishments this year. We have 2 new Swarovski crystals. We have our Vibrant Magenta, which falls into the rest of our magenta family, and then also our Sea Glass Crystal. So you guys should have received, the veterans should have received the new discs to add to your fall color wheel, and any of our new reps should have received the entire color wheel. And then you also should have received all of our updated option cards. So these feature all the colors, and our metallic silver nail head is on the card here. It is not on a disc because it is not made by Swarovski, and Swarovski makes those discs for us. The metallic silver nail head is a round silver nail head, very similar to the white pearl. It is not faceted, it is round. It's a dome, and it can be used in our cams machine. It can be used mixed with crystals. And one thing that's important to note, that because it can be mixed with crystals, and you'll see some of that shown in the catalog this year, that you can still get the embellishment and the bling, but with less crystals, it kind of cuts and reduces the prices. So that is a way that you can work with your customers this year to incorporate the nail heads with the crystals. You'll still get the shine, you'll still get the embellishment, but you will get it'll be a reduced price. And our matte spangles. So on our spangle card, you'll see the new matte spangles. So they're offered in silver, red, black, and gold. And then for our new 2020 men's catalog, very excited, we have Sam Ewell, Alan Bauer, and also Alec Yoder featured in the catalog this year. We're very excited to have some new faces for the men, and we added 10 new sublimated special order designs, and they are being sublimated and offered on Polytech. So again, special order designs that are unique to the industry. We added 3 new stock styles. 2 of them are featured on the presentation here, and then we also carried over our USA World replica for the line this year. And then we added Steel Campus Stretch Tech to our offering of stock products. So that's available in our stock pants and shorts for the guys. And then the warm-ups for the relaxed fit, the same changes hold true, that we modified the silhouette so it's a more sleeker fit, as you can see here on Donnell and Alan. This also features the new collar, and it features the new fit and the cuff. We have a new Stretch Tech fabric for the guys in orange. This is new fabric for them. And then our sublimated warm-ups. These are our SBEs for our warm-ups. We added 4 new designs for the guys, and you can tell Razor and Lightning Strike is featured on the 2 models here. Again, this is plug and play. You pick your silhouette, you pick your artwork, and then you can add your sublimated colors to them. And that's it for the competitive and in stock catalog. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys loved all your samples. There are a few samples that didn't make the packet, make your box, and we'll be getting to those to you as soon as we can. We also have, we're offering new sizers. So as soon as they're on the shelf, Amber and I will, and the coordinators will let you guys know when they're available. And that includes our warm up. So the new fit of our relaxed warm up, you guys will be getting all new sizers for that. And I'm also going to make sure that you guys get the new Lulu style jacket and capri. We just didn't have them in time to send to you. Okay, and then next part of the product presentation is just some exciting new partnership announcements. So our Team USA collection. We're very, very excited to have partnered with the USOPC to bring you Team USA leotards. There'll be 11 leotards, 1 short and capri, that are tentatively scheduled to launch in May. They feature the Team USA logo as well as the Olympic rings. You will receive a digital lookbook of these styles, and it will be launched on our website via email and social channels. And then Caitlin Ohashi, we signed with her, and we are tentatively scheduled to launch 3 leotards coming June 2020. It is inspired by Caitlin's unique style and personality. So we have, it's been really fun designing with her. She has just a different look, a different style, and we're excited to be able to show this to you as soon as we get them approved. And then we also have a potential Q4 launch of 3 additional leotards in her collection that will also be available via website, email, and social. Next up is Erica.
Thanks, Kelly. So we're just going to go through a quick 2020 marketing plan. As Matt mentioned in the upfront slides, as you guys all know, a lot has changed in the past 2 weeks with the news of the Olympics, which kind of upended our marketing plan for most of the year. So while we're working to confirm what that updated plan looks like, I'm going to cover with you guys today some things that we're actively doing right now in the state that we're in, as well as share a couple of things that we're working towards for the future as well. So starting with that, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on where we stand with the catalogs. You guys all should have received both your men's and women's catalogs as well as the collateral to each of your homes prior to this meeting. So hopefully you got them. They look beautiful. The gold foil is a nice touch to add a little bit of bling to the front of the cover for what we were expecting to be an Olympic year, but now it's just a really beautiful catalog cover with that nice added touch. We will be doing our customer mailing this week, so those will actually be going out tomorrow. So we will be shipping all of the shipments via USPS. So please inform your accounts that they're on the way and that they will be arriving to their gyms. We did some outreach to a few of the reps, and they said most gyms are still receiving USPS. Most are still kind of going in and picking up their materials. So just a little heads up that they're on the way as of tomorrow to your accounts, just to remind them to go and pick them up and start flipping through all of our new selections. In that packet, every gym on the list will be receiving the women's catalog, the men's catalog, as well as both collaterals and the letter from GK as well that just highlights what's new and that we look forward to working with them throughout the year. I'm excited to announce that the digital versions are also available. So they are on the Dropbox for all of you, both low res and high res versions of the catalogs and the collateral, as well as online links are now available to the flip through version on the website. So I'll be sending out an email to all of you with that information after the meeting is over, so you guys can hit the ground running with sharing out the digital versions of the catalogs with all of your customers. We will have the online ordering system for the catalogs available, as we always do for the annual catalogs. So that'll be up and running once we're able to reopen our distribution center to be able to ship those out. So should you guys need more catalogs, should you have a customer that needs additional catalogs, we will have that service available again this year as well. And then lastly, in addition to the email with the links to Dropbox as well as the online website catalogs, my email today will also include some additional launch materials that you guys can use for your initial outreach to your customers. So this will be a graphic that you guys can share in your outreach to your customers. It is saying, hey, our new catalog is available, but we're spinning it this year. As we know, a lot of gyms aren't up and running. They aren't ready to place an order. So it's kind of a no pressure to buy type of message included on that graphic. So it says, we're here to listen. We're here to get the ideas flowing, but please, don't feel obligated to only have a conversation with us when you're ready to buy. We're here now to start that process, and don't feel pressured to buy right away. So that is what is to come at the end of the call via that email as well. Moving in to our short-term social media plan. So right now we know everybody's home, everybody's doing some kids are doing some homeschooling at home. A lot of people are doing workouts at home. So we're just here to provide some fun and engaging content for our community at this time. So I'm sure if you guys have been on our Instagram, on our Facebook, we have started a series with a physical therapist, Danielle, who I actually did gymnastics with in college. She's one of my close friends. But she has been providing some gymnastics specific workout plans and videos, focusing on different areas that we've been posting and have been getting a lot of great engagement. We've also reached out to all of our ambassadors, so Sam, Yule, Lori, and Simone, to assist with some content as well. So this is just fun facts from them, training tips, lifestyle tips, which we are getting added into our social media calendar. And I'm also excited to announce that we have a couple of our athletes doing takeovers on our Instagram accounts too. So we have Yule scheduled for this afternoon. So he's going to spend an hour with our fans on our Instagram stories, answering questions, engaging with them, giving some tips and tricks, and just having an hour that our fans can engage with him. We are also working to finalize a takeover with Sam for this coming Thursday in the afternoon. And then we'll have Lori doing a takeover next Tuesday. So these will just be some, some great opportunities for our fans to engage kind of with their gymnastics heroes, and also just give people a break from everything that is happening on the news and in other social media channels. So we're really excited about that. All of our ambassadors have been super helpful and super open to providing content. So you'll see that starting to trickle in over the next few weeks as well. We're also using a lot of user-generated content. So I'm in there resharing and sharing as people are tagging us. Luckily for GK, we get a lot of tags. So we kind of have an endless bank of user-generated content, which is really great. And the fans are always excited when we reshare their content. So we'll continue to do that. And then really just getting into resharing any relevant content within the gymnastics community. So whether that comes from USA Gymnastics, NCAA, club gyms have been doing their own challenges and tagging us, which we've been resharing, and just really resharing some challenges, some contests, and just really anything to get gymnasts moving, keeping them moving, and just providing some fun stuff on our Instagram account and our Facebook account, which is a little less salesy and a little bit more just fun for the audience. In terms of some engagement that you all can do on your social media pages, I know a lot of you have dedicated GK pages out there. So just some ideas for great content for your channels are sharing out, new imagery, new styles, new ideas. All of the new product images are available on Dropbox for you guys to use. So you can always just pull them down, download them to your phone, and post them to your social media. You can also share designs that you've created with your customers in the past, ideas that you're working on currently with any of them. If you want to even pop into the UDesign 360 and just tool around and make some great options that then you can save out and share with your audience. That's a great option as well. event content once they're up and started again, videos and photos when you're on site, whether you're selling, you're just a spectator. It's great content to show that we're out there at these events, we're engaging. And of course, you can always send that to us as well to share on our pages. And then just resharing any of the GK account native content as well. You're more than welcome to share anything that we share to your personal pages as well. And then the one ask, I feel like we kind of repeat this ad nauseum, but here goes anyway. Just remember to always tag us at GK Elite and hashtag GK Elite in your content so we can reshare. You guys are, out in the field every day, or I guess usually out in the field every day. Now we're all doing it from home. But if you guys are out and about, if you guys are posting to your social media, please, please, please tag GK Elite. It gives us visibility to what you guys are sharing. It gives us additional content that we can share with our accounts or with our community. And a lot of the times you guys see stuff or know about stuff or hear about stuff before we even know about it. So it's a great way for us to gain visibility into what you guys are doing and be able to share that out with our community. So always tag GK. Moving on, I just wanted to provide a quick update on promotions because our website for the past 2 weeks has been turned off. I'll start kind of down here at the bottom. We currently don't have any consumer promotions scheduled for our website as of this moment, strictly because we couldn't ship them anything. So as of right now, the consumer promotions are kind of on pause. As we get back up and running, they will start to trickle in again, but we'll make sure to provide that communication out to you guys more regularly than we have in the past, as I know you guys are often affected by what we're doing on the site. In terms of current wholesale promotions though, the early buy promotion is now active, and that currently is scheduled to be active through April 15th of this year. So it's set up in the same way that it was last year. So if you spend up to $4,000, it's save 5%. 4,000 to 7,500 is 10%. 7,501 to 18,000 is saving 15%, and then anything over 18,000 is at an 18% discount. The discount code for the website is Shop Early 2020, and similar to what we did last year, we do have individual segment codes for each of those different tiers broken out and are available upon request from your sales coordinators. So that'll allow you guys to, I know some of the orders can be placed through the site, some of them you guys still have to do manual, and when you add them together, kind of puts your customers in the next bracket up. So similar, well, exactly like we did last year, just with updated codes. So if you guys find yourself in that situation, you can reach out to your sales coordinator to get that code for whichever bracket your customer would fall into. We just ask that you use it on the honor system, just to make sure that we're giving the customers the proper discount. We've also extended the camp promotion. So I emailed you guys about this after our last rep call. So we currently have extended it through June 1st. As we get back up and running, we can always reevaluate that in terms of when everybody's getting back in the gym. But the details are listed there below. They haven't changed. We just extended that date through the 1st of June. So that's a quick update on promos. And then moving into some exciting news, Kelly had just told us all about the Team USA partnership and agreement. So we are excited, excuse me, to get gymnastics back on its feet with the exciting launch of this program. So what we would really love to do with this program is to leverage the relationships that you all have built with your gyms, provide an opportunity for outreach as gyms are getting back up and running, and as we are all kind of coming out of this current situation. But we would love to provide you all with a way to philanthropically connect with each of your customers. So this will provide you guys an opportunity to reach out to them and say, hey, we have this program going on. We would love for your gym to be involved, and outline the specifics of the program before we from the corporate side release the program officially and do all of our marketing efforts. So this plan still is a bit of a work in progress, as you know, the news of the Olympics being postponed just happened last week. But we are excited to be able to release these official Olympic Rings apparel, the official Team USA apparel. As Kelly mentioned, it is 11 leotards and 2 bottoms, 1 capri and 1 short. With this, we are all Team USA kind of messaging. So it's really about bringing the sport back together, bringing the gymnasts together, bringing the gyms together, and really offering them a moment that GK is giving back. So with this program, it won't just be the launch of the leotards, but it'll also be a way for us to generate some funds that we will then donate to the individual gyms through this program. So it'll either happen between either a gym or you know, an account entering either the gym name or some sort of unique code at checkout. We're currently still working through a couple options there. And what we'll do from GK is a percentage of those sales will be donated back to that gym that has entered their code or gym name at checkout. So it's a way to, you know, inject some camaraderie and to inject some cash into these gyms that we know are going through a really hard time with everybody having to be stuck at home. So our tentative launch date for this is May. That's when we anticipate being able to have everything ready, pulled together, and be able to ship these products. And it will be supported with a digital lookbook, an email blast that will come after you all have the ability to reach out to your individual gyms, and then supported on social as well. So this is definitely a work in progress type of product launch that we are eager and kind of feverishly working to figure out all the details for you. So definitely more to come, but we're excited at this opportunity to bring the sport back together. So we thought it was important to share with you guys today. Moving on, I have a quick product launch calendar, excuse me, outlook through the balance of the year. So, you know, I'll just run down quickly. Obviously, the annual catalog is launching now. So we're super excited about that. Everything looks beautiful. The product is beautiful. The catalogs look beautiful. So excited to continue on that. We have that Team USA launch that I just mentioned in May. We also have the balance of our seasonal essential launches. So summer had launched to all of you prior to us going on shutdown, but it never launched to our consumer segment. So we tentatively have that launch for May as well. And then the balance of the year with back to school launching in June, July for you guys as well as consumers, holiday launching in August and September, and then spring 2021 will launch in December of 2020. We also have a Disney launch, which has kind of been put on hold given the situation. So we have that slated to launch in May as well. We have the Caitlin Ohashi collection, which Kelly mentioned, which will launch tentatively in June. And then we are planning Simone replicas for classics and championships. So on this calendar, we do have them reflected as launching in July and August to align with the launch, align to the new dates that Matt had mentioned earlier. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jamie to run through some website updates with everybody.
Hi, everyone. So just touching base on some website updates. Some of them was a lot exciting happening today on the website, a lot of new initiatives coming through. So for today, we are launching a new site-wide search. So what that's going to mean for you is that when you go to our search bar, you're going to have a different experience than what you're used to today. You're going to have a different drop down. It's going to have a couple different options available to you that you haven't seen before, such as popular searches, trending products, etc. And when you finally get to your search page, it will be slightly different than what it is today. It'll have a more robust filtering system for you to dive down into your search results a little bit more. And the way the products are displayed are going to be slightly different, but it should be pretty straightforward on how to operate that. Along with that is coming some large navigational changes. If you see in the screenshot that I have on the top there, that we are going away from our women's, men's, kids navigation and going more on a product hierarchy standpoint. So we're going to have collections, we're going to have leotards, we're going to have activewear, warm-ups, accessories. We are still keeping kids and men's on the top just to give them a little bit more priority, since we've kind of stretched out women's a little bit more than we had before. But this should hopefully get you to a point where you're able to dive down deep into what you're trying to look for the customer, and also give you some better visibility into some collections and different type of leotard options. I know one of the things everyone's requested year after year is to have a link that goes directly to all the styles in the annual catalog. That will be added as part of this launch as well. In addition, we're offering some breadcrumb navigation. This breadcrumb navigation is the links that show the very top of a product page and the category page. So on both of those screenshots, the top one's a category, and the one that Erica has her mouse over is the product page. This will allow you to see a hierarchy on the site of where that product actually sits. So you can kind of go back the train and try to figure out where you came from. One caveat is that if you're in say you're in the Summer Essentials collection and you go into a Simone Biles leotard, the navigation won't say, the breadcrumb navigation won't say Summer Collection, Simone Biles leotard. It'll actually go back to leotards, training leotards, and tank leotards. We're working on trying to find some better solutions for that, but at least here it's showing some sort of hierarchy on how to get back to the product. In addition, with all of these navigation changes, we are actually changing how the product page looks as well. So it's a brand new layout across the board. The bigger changes are the product image will no longer be scrolling constantly down the page. You're going to have a singular spot for the product image, and you can rotate between the alternate images by using the thumbnails on the left-hand side. In addition to that, when you hover over the main image, what'll happen is you'll see a zoom image come over on the right side of the page as well. So that kind of gives you a little bit better view of the product that you're viewing. And then we kind of change some different elements around. So the titles are now going to be above the images with review ratings below it, and then kind of highlighting the price at the very top corner of the image, and then giving a little snippet of this product description underneath it. And the same basic ordering structure you're used to today. Consumers had a little bit more of a change, kind of stretching things out to fill the space a little bit more. But from a wholesale perspective, it's exactly the same grid that you have right now. Another big one is, I know this has been a pain point for some time, is the TD size on the GKID styles will now be in the proper spot underneath the child sizes at the very beginning. So it will no longer kind of filter at the end. And the last big update for today that is going to really impact you is the cart quantity indicator. I know many of you have asked us time and again since we launched the site to have a quantity notation next to the shopping cart so you knew how many products were in your cart when you went into it. Now what you'll see in the below bottom screen capture we have there is in parentheses next to the shopping cart, you'll see the number that's in there. So this cart that I did on the screenshot had 4 quantity across all the styles I had in it. And that will just continue to grow as it sees fit. So that's pretty much the updates for today that we'll be focusing on. There are going to be a number of updates coming in the future later on this year. We're going to be doing future enhancements to the product page. So in the screen capture we have here is highlighting a special order product. This is currently in development, where instead of just having a small little button that says AO, actually showing a small thumbnail of that product. that says AO1, AO2, AO3, or whatever that is underneath it. That way it's a better visual on what the customer is selecting. Also underneath that AO number, we want to describe what that is. So the customer knows that, oh, I'll pick AO1, it's going to be area A is going to be nylon spandex, area B is going to be hologram, etc. So that way it's a little more visible to the customer on what they're picking. In addition, we want to create some product pages for the styles that we don't have configurable online, such as the Dreamlight collection, where it's still going to be found via search, but then have a button that says contact your sales rep that'll take you to the sales rep page so they can contact you to kind of engage in that sale a little bit more on that. We will also be looking onto a larger drop-down menu, also kind of known as a mega nav. Some of you that have been with the company for some time, you know that our old website had more of that large structure of a navigation. Kind of want to look at going back to something like that, not exactly, but that will give better visibility to our entire website hierarchy so you can dive down deeper where you need to. We will also be redesigning the entire home page. This is going to give us more longer form, so more content, more areas to kind of have the customer navigate through as they're moving forward. And that's only the tip of the iceberg of what we're working on this year for stuff. There's more stuff coming, but that's where we're standing right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. And I'm just going to end with a quick housekeeping page for you guys as well. As I had mentioned numerous times, Dropbox has been updated and will continue to be updated with new assets as they become available for you. That includes those low res and high res versions of the catalogs, the collaterals, and all images for styles, both men's and women's. Here's another quick reminder just to tag us. I feel like I can't say it enough. And then for any marketing inquiries, you can send them directly to me. I've included both my email address as well as my phone number on here. So any questions with social, any content that you see that you would love to have shared on the GK pages for social, you guys can direct to me moving forward. And then same thing, email, promotions, image requests, ad requests, banner requests, any event needs once we get back up and running, as well as any issues or needs with Dropbox can come directly to me for the foreseeable future. With that as well, I'll make the note that this full presentation, as well as the presentation that Kelly ran us through, and a recording of today's meeting will all be made available via Dropbox after the conclusion of the call today too. So you guys will have access to everything that was reviewed today during the call. And with that,
Thanks, Erica.
Back over to Drew.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. I appreciate that. Great updates from the marketing side of things. Obviously, you can see they've got a lot on their plate and are staying extremely busy on the, from the website updates, social media to the print materials and planning out the rest of this year. We have a lot of things going on.
Apparently you can.
We can. Yes, we can, buddy. Thank you so much. So guys, as an introduction, I apologize. Todd was late. He's a big hair and makeup guy. His people didn't get him out of the chair in time before the call here. So Todd is our Executive Vice President of Operations. Todd runs all of our manufacturing, sourcing. So everything that happens in the back of the house, Todd is running point on. And as a kind of precursor to Todd's presentation, I asked him to join today. As we've gone through, a year where we've made a lot of changes in the business. We obviously have gone on to some new products, some new embellishments and things like that. And I asked Todd to join us to talk a little bit about, from a QC perspective, I know there were some concerns in the field, just kind of about visibility process and things like that. And so I asked Todd to join us as he's in charge of, basically from once the designs are handed over, Todd's team takes the product all the way through to the point where it ships to your customers. And then if there's a return, his team handles the return, the correction, the repair, and then back. And so Todd's well up to speed with a lot of the concerns that we've had as a business. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Todd, who will walk us through a bit about an overview of his organization and some of the changes that have been going on over there. TK, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, Matt. Hey, so I mean, I'll start out talking about QC, but any other questions you have? I also have Donato Casciano here with me. He is EVP of Production. And if you have any other questions that you would like to answer, like us to answer real quick, we can do that as well. So just to focus on the QC part of it, we're going to focus on the outbound QC process, returns and QC update, as well as just key departmental areas of improvement and things that we're trying to do. We've made a lot of progress over the years, but I'll be the first one to admit that we've still got a lot of work to do. And without making any excuses, a lot of our issues around QC and getting good data is really around systems and being able to capture the data appropriately and then put it into a format where we can use it and really identify what the issues are. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those things as I go through the process, but from just a pure outbound QC process, we continue to drive improvements there. What I mean by outbound is that is product that is going through our floor and being inspected before it leaves the building. We've added more people to the QC process in the back or in the past when it reported through several different other functions. We would limit our resources. I'll just be honest with you. We would limit our resources a bit back there, but we spent a lot of overtime. And what that overtime led to was a lot of rushing and probably not doing the type of job that we needed to be doing on the back end to get these garments out, especially as we got later in the week, because we're trying to hit weekend ship dates, and it would just lead to a lot of rushing and probably not the type of inspection that needed to happen all the time across the board. So we've added more people, we're working less overtime, and we're doing less rushing. We've added 2 inspection processes. So we do an initial inspection process up front with a team of people, and they look for things really quickly, like, are all the embellishments on here? They don't look at every garment, they look at the order, and they say, in this order, do we have all the embellishments on this garment? Does it look like it's the right color format for this product? Do we have the right fabrics in here, and so on? So they'll quickly look at those, and then they'll pass it off to the individual inspectors to go into more detail. Now, what happens with that sometimes is that they'll take, let's say it's an order of 100 pieces or units. They will take and just quickly look at 1 or 2 of those garments and pass it on. The way that our process works and how we sometimes miss jewels on, you might have 5 garments that end up going out to the customer, and we're trying to do a better job of this. But sometimes orders or products might get damaged during our production process, and when that happens, the orders get split. The 95 pieces continue to go through the production floor. The other 5 go all the way back to the front end process, get cut, and they go through the process again. And during that process, those 5 pieces, every now and then, I've seen it happen, get missed. A certain, like maybe it's a jewel, a collar, jewel or something like that gets missed. We're trying to catch those as they go into inspection, but I have seen, and we have seen that every once in a while we are missing those, especially when we get rushed. So we're continuing to work on processes to improve that portion of it. We used to spec a lot of the armholes, the leg holes, the neck openings, and whatever within the inspection department. And what we had determined over the years is that we really weren't seeing many problems with that. It was taking up a lot of time that we weren't being able to put into other parts of the garment. We inspect all of those measurements on the sewing floor with every garment that's being made. So the sewing operators are doing that today, and we realize that there's probably not much of a need to redo it again in the inspection department. So we've taken those hours and those resources and applied those to inspecting the garments. We've implemented a new process this year where we flag our top accounts. We take a look at our largest accounts, or ones that we hear from the sales organization that are top accounts, and they get flagged in customer service. So when they come down, we try to spend, or we do spend, a little bit extra time making sure that we're looking at those garments, and we'll even look at those garments a little bit more often in the prior to the final production stage. We'll do inline inspection, a little bit heavier inline inspections on those particular orders as well. And then we have implemented processes and responsibilities within each one of the functional departments that take and give the lead supervisors in those departments more responsibility around making sure that they are doing inspection, that they're making their rounds, that as we start an order, that they're bringing that first initial piece to those supervisors, having them look at those, validating it against the cut order, and to try to eliminate as many mistakes as we can there as well. Any questions on the outbound or any issues that you want to kind of express any concerns about as it goes to outbound? No? Okay. So second would be the return QC update. Basically, the returns is a process where the product is coming back from the customer. It's went out and there's been problems with the product either initially or as they begin to wear the product. Sometimes we get product back within days. Sometimes we get product back 2 years later to have it repaired. We track all of that. We don't necessarily track it today based on the dating of or the age of the product, which I think we need to do more of, and I'm working with Kathy to try to implement that. So we know if it was an initial quality issue as it went out, or if we know that it was something that happened as it was worn, as it was continually washed, as it kind of got beat up in the process, so that we can focus on different aspects of the quality issues. We actually had a pretty good year this year. We added an extra person in the QC process. We had the majority of our orders processed in a matter of 24 hours, where in the past it could have been a week to 2 weeks at times when we got really backlogged. And there were no orders that stayed in that department any more than 24 hours, or I'm sorry, yeah, 48 hours. We are trying to hit, and we've challenged Don to put together a process to allow us to, first of all, get better visibility to the orders. The orders today have no visibility as they come into this building. There's some paperwork that gets pushed down to the floor, and Don tries to track it manually. I'm working with IT, Don's working with IT, so that we actually create a cut order for every return that comes in here. And we actually now get a production schedule, and we will review that production schedule within our daily production meetings to make sure that we're turning those products within 2 weeks of the time that we receive them back into the building. If we can't hit that 2-week turn for some specific reason, we'll reach out to customer service and have them reach out to the sales organization and let them know that we can't get that done. But that's going to improve the turn time quite a bit. I know that in the past we've had a 4-week turnaround time. I think this will help us better manage it, and we'll be able to achieve that 2-week turn as we get into these new processes in the next couple of months. And then just a better job of recording the QC returns, making sure that we have very, very defined categories of what the problem was, and then putting together systems with IT that allow us to capture that data better, so that when we get the metrics at the end of each month, we can sit down as a group and talk about what we saw, what the QC issues were, and what are we going to do to try to improve those things. The biggest issues that we saw this last year on QC returns, and this is a combination, I don't have it broken out by Jim and Cheer right now, but they're generally pretty common. But the biggest issues that we saw were fit, missing jewels falling off, and then the fourth one, which I'm surprised by a little bit, were either, and this isn't a dig at anybody, but we're just orders not being entered right, customer service issues, whatever it might be, but the information on the cut order not being correct as it came down to the floor. So those are the 4 things that we're focused on as an organization or as a team right now to try to improve. As far as additional key areas of improvement within the group, one of the areas that was called out was sublimation, color transitions, heat transfer markings. Sublimation, first of all, sublimation is a tough animal. I mean, I know that everybody wants the colors to match exactly when we do a reorder and so on. We do our best, and we spend hours sometimes, if not days, trying to match garments up so that the colors are identical as much as we possibly can. But it's not always possible. Sometimes the substrates change. If there is a nick that happens in a printhead, we've got 8 printers back there. If I went from one printer to the next, if I went from printer, let's say number 1 to printer number 3, you're going to get a different color out of those 2 printers. And they're not going to be drastic, but they're very possibly going to be a different color. So we track on every order what printer that garment was printed on, so that when we go back and do a reorder, we can put it on that same printer. But if there gets to be a small nick in one of the jets or something like that, it can change the color again just a little bit. So we've got to go back in and dial that in. And I will say in most cases, we're able to dial in, but it doesn't always happen that way. We have blankets. We keep blankets of every order that goes through the facility and through our operation, and we match that blanket. We pull it out and we try to match that blanket to any reorder that we do to make sure that we're matching those colors the best that we possibly can. But again, I will say sublimation, it's an art. It's not an exact science. It's a difficult process. As far as heat transfer, I don't know really what that, Matt, what did you mean by heat transfer markings? Help me out with that one.
So,
oh, I know what you're talking about there. It just hit me. Yes. So again, not making excuses, but we push the limits at Elite in everything that we do. From the fabrics we use, we sublimate on fabrics that we shouldn't be sublimating on. They're not what we would call prepared for print, but it's something that the customer wants. It's something that the marketing team wants to develop. So they work closely with us to do our best to try to develop ways to be able to make these garments work. But it does make it difficult at times in order to get this done. And we put a lot of time and resources in trying to refine those things to get it right. One of the issues that we do see is when we actually sublimate a garment and then we create an embellishment, let's say it's jewels or spangles, and we take this sticky paper and we put it down on top of the sublimated garment, and then we hit it with heat. When we peel it back, sometimes it will actually pull some of the color off, and it will cause a marking on the garment. We try to catch those, we try to recut those, and we try to remake them in order to get it to work. And we try a variety of different things to try to make it work so that we don't pull that off. One of the biggest areas of challenges that we see this on is on our foiled product. So our Holotech, for example, would be one where that ink probably doesn't adhere as well to the foil, or we're actually pulling the foil off of the actual fabric itself when we're pulling the sticky paper off after we heat it. Some of the things that we're doing is we're trying to set up different heat transfer tables that have different dwell times, different pressure, and even looking at using a paper that is less tacky for those types of garments. The problem with using a less tacky paper is it really slows down our production process, because we've got to be very gentle with either the spangles or the jewels that are applied to that, because they'll fall off before we can even get it turned over and put it on the garment. So again, something that we're spending kind of our non-peak season trying to work on and trying to refine to get better at that. I know that there have been some garments that have shipped out with that, that I believe should have been caught in QC, and I've sat down with the QC department to talk about those things, where you can actually see the markings on the garment, and we probably should have caught that. Don just stepped in and said he wanted to say a couple things about that.
Yeah, so that's a big issue that we're trying to work through. I know you guys don't see it, but we put hundreds of reprints and recuts in on garments that we don't pass, but sometimes, 1 or 2 will slip through. We can have an order for 25 pieces and have the 23 are good and 2 are bad, and then we put a recut in. But it's a fabric issue that we're dealing with. Some fabrics, go through and there's no markings, and the next time we use the same fabric, different roll numbers, different dye lots, we'll have big issues. So we're on top of it. You're going to see a big improvement. I'm making some changes in the department, how we handle it. Instead of keeping it under the machine for the full durée of the heat press the jewels, what we're trying to do is put it in maybe for 10 seconds, and then we pull off the sticky paper, and then we put it in the machine for the balance of the time to set the jewels correctly. So that's been helping a great deal. And then also we've been trying different pressures on different machines. So we're going to actually have one machine for this FoilTech fabric that's given us a headache when we're applying, the jewels on it, and it seems to be working. So you're going to see a big improvement on that end, on the quality side.
Okay, and then embellishment, placement, and alignment. Again, we recognize that there's been some issues here. We're implementing more inline inspection to make sure that as we place the jewels or the spangles, whatever it might be, prior to hitting it with heat, that we have inline inspectors looking at that and comparing it to the actual cut order to make sure that they're aligned correctly. We've made some actual supervisor changes within the department because we didn't feel like the people that we had in those departments were paying enough attention to it and taking it seriously enough. So we've made some changes there. And then, we're going to continue to add more resources back in final inspection to make sure that those things are being reviewed and caught before they go out the door as well. So I think those three things right there will draw a lot of improvement as we head into next year. As far as adhesive to the fabric itself, again, we push the limit here on what we can do. And it's everywhere from how the jewels are located and where they're located, if they're against thick binding or something like that, or they're close to it, the pressure that can be applied to the actual jewel and the heat that transfers to that sometimes is not as much the closer you get to the binding, because the binding is holding the heat press back from getting deeper into the garment, into the jewels, where if it's further away, it typically is going to get more heat and pressure applied to it. So we're working on some things there to help drive that. But really what we're trying to do, and what I'm really working with the QC team is put together more rigorous testing of the jewels before they go out of this building, to make sure that we're just not kind of rubbing our hand over it and seeing if everything is sticking. But even pushing the limit there a little bit further and doing more rigorous testing and applying a little bit more pressure, developing some tools that will help us do that, so that we can try to catch any loose jewels that are out there, and then we can try to reapply them and hit them again before they go out the door. What else? I think that is really about it. What kind of questions or concerns do you have that maybe I can answer?
Todd, I think we have two additional questions in the chat. The first being mesh arms being tight, which is likely a pattern issue. The second is open seams, garments being shipped without open seams. So if you could address those 2 points.
Sure. So yeah, on the mesh sleeves, I think we do have a pattern issue, but I think we also might even have, and we're working on that, but we might have a shrink issue. The production and pattern team are working together to try to determine that. So sometimes when we hit a mesh with heat, it may shrink, and different types of mesh may react differently than others. And so we're working on that right now to make adjustments to the pattern, that if it's going to get embellishments on the sleeve, that we've got to use a different pattern than what we would use if that sleeve did not get an embellishment, because if it's going to get heat applied to it, it very well could shrink up. So we did see some issues with that last year, and again, the production and pattern teams are working together to try to develop some changes there to prevent that. What was the second one, Matt? It was
open seams.
Open seam. Should never go out of this building with open seams. If the inspectors are doing their job and inspecting the garments as they're going out the door, and something that myself and the QC team are talking about, is just getting better. Again, without making excuses, if this happens in the embellishment area and the alignment of embellishments and in the placement, as well as an inspection, when you go from doing 200 garments a week to now you're doing 10,000 units a week, you're hiring people in here and you're trying to get them trained and up to speed as quickly as you possibly can. And you've got to spend you're spending a lot of time training, and you are going to have some issues with that, to where not everybody is going to be ideally the people that or you're not going to have them trained, let's just put it that way, to the level that they need to be all of the time. We're doing our best to try to get there. We're doing our best to try to bring them in earlier and get them up to speed and get the training done earlier, but there's cost associated with doing that. We're trying to put in processes, like I said, where we're doing more inspection on the front end before it goes to the inspectors. And something we've talked about is maybe doing another one on the very back end, having people quickly look for things. If we start to see that open seams is a major issue, then maybe we have somebody who does nothing with that garment but look at those open seams and look for open seams and problems with those. So again, we've identified it as an issue, and it's something that we're working on to try to continue to drive improvements there.
Thanks, TK. I appreciate it. Any other open questions before we let Todd and Don go? Guys, I appreciate what you're doing. Also, as a message from everybody here, thank you guys for all of your work on the nickel supply stuff. We really appreciate what you're doing for us in the community in this period.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. Been pretty busy, but I'm actually learning more about PPE products than I ever wanted to know. I'll guarantee you that. So, but it's working out pretty well. All right.
Good.
All right. Very good.
Thanks,
Matt?
Todd. Appreciate it.
Oh, Matt, somebody.
Yeah, I just had a question about the pattern specifications for the sleeves that have the liner. Have those been changed to modify that extra material underneath the mesh?
Yeah, I know Colleen was working on that. I do not know if that has been done. I'm assuming it has, but I will follow up on that and look into it. It certainly was on her list of things to take care of. But let me look into that, and I'll get back to Matt on that, and he can reach out to the team.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but can I have one?
Sure.
Jeff and or Todd and Don. So I think just for the moral, and I know it's our reps issues too, but the past 2 years, I think just our QC, even with reps putting in things in wrong and just things kind of getting missed, just the general consensus of our customers is just it's not up to par to where we should be as GK. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people, just need to have the confidence, that we are really going to come into this after the last 2 years and with this down, that we have really kind of stepped up our game in that area.
Yeah, I mean, quality is probably the most important thing that we do here. I mean, we take it seriously, and we are trying to improve every single day. Again, not making excuses. This is a difficult business. I tell people all the time, I've made ATMs, I've made POS terminals, I've done a lot of things. I have never done anything as hard as making a leotard. Especially when it comes to what we do as an organization. This is a complicated, complex business, and we learn every single day as we're out here on this floor, and all the way from customer service all the way down, and we continue to drive improvements in what we're doing. So you can be assured that we are taking this seriously. I can't guarantee you that we won't miss things and we won't make mistakes, but I will guarantee you that when we do, they're taken seriously, and we're getting together and we're sitting down as a group and we're talking about how we can, make improvements to what we're doing and getting better. So we are driving continuous improvement, and we are certainly taking it very seriously.
Thank you so much. And I just appreciate everything that y'all do. And I know I speak on everybody for that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. All right,
thanks,
guys. Have a great rest of the meeting. And hope we have a great, fantastic peak season this year. So we'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, bye.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate the questions with that. And just so you know, in the chat window, all the questions that everyone has asked so far, we're tracking, copying, and making sure that we'll address those as well on the tail end of this. All right, so we're going to shift gears and go to the sales update now. Erica, if you can go to the next slide here. Excuse me. So one of the things that I've been talking a lot about with a lot of you individually is that we need to do we need to control what we can control. This has really been my mantra for the last couple of months. And I think there's a lot out there that's happening that we can't control, but there's plenty that we can. And, you know, this message aligns really well with what Matt mentioned earlier, the 4 Ps of being present, be prepared, be planning, and be proactive. And so, you know, if we can compartmentalize the things that we can't control and hyper focus on those that we can, I promise it's going to help make you feel better about what we're doing on a daily basis. And ultimately, it's going to lower your stress level, which I'm sure for everyone is running pretty high these days. So with that in mind, I think one of the things that we can control is staying top of mind with customers. And so part of that is being present. If we're, you know, connecting this to the 4 Ps there. So I had a conversation with Kelly Dorley last week that was framed around how to stay top of mind with your customer. So Kelly, can you share some of the activities that you're doing right now to help support your customers in this time? I think I can take you off mute if you're, or you can.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yep.
Okay. So everyone's area is different. So I'm just going to share, you know, what I've been doing and what's been working for me. So the very first thing I did is I have my Rolodex, my old school box of all of my customers, everything they have going on. It's in alphabetical order. So the first thing I did was I just went through that box and I sent everyone an email that just said, it was really short. It was like just 2 sentences. And I did them all individually because I had that kind of time. And I just said, you know, like, hello, and I'm thinking of you and your gym family, and I'm sending, like, you know, it was a little, they weren't all exactly the same, but something to the effect of like, I'm sending healthy and positive vibes your way. You know, I'm here for you, and I just put my name, and I did like 20 or 30 a day, and initially didn't get a lot of, like, the first day wasn't a ton of response because it was like right in the very beginning, and then as I sent them more, you know, I got a lot of responses like, thank you, I hope you're doing well too, and that kind of thing. So then with the you know, working on new apparel, you know, I kind of reached back out to some people and just said, you know, basically everything that I'm sending is just, you know, if this is not on your mind right now, I totally understand. But some folks have reached out and said, now's a good time for me to get a jump on my apparel, you know, kind of get this out of the way before, you know, we all come back into the gym while I'm sitting at home. I would like to do that. So I've kind of worded the email saying, I'm reaching back out to you because, you know, a lot of gym clubs are looking to get this off their list. And, you know, here's some designs we talked about, and, you know, let's kind of get back going with your designs if you want to. And like one person reached out to me and said, listen, this is not on my mind right now. Like, I can't even think about leotards. I'm trying to keep my business open. And that was totally, you know, totally fine. But most of the clubs have said, this is a great thing for me to be doing right now because I have not a whole lot else going on. And if I can get this out of the way, when we do go back into the gym, I'll have one less thing to worry about. So so that was a good way for me to reach out to some of those people. And then what I kind of did was just put together like sort of a list. So now that the catalog's launching, I can reach out to people again, basically coming up with a way to not just randomly reach out, but have a reason. So now with new designs coming out, I'll reach out again. And in the beginning of the email, it's going to say, listen, if this is not on your mind right now, like, I totally understand. But a lot of folks have asked, you know, can I get this done? Can I get this out of the way? And so, you know, I'm here and working if they want to do their designs. And I think that, you know, for most of you, you probably, I mean, this isn't like, you know, a huge, you know, a big crazy idea, but I think if for the newer people to have some kind of timeline and to have some sort of, you know, if you use the emails on when the GK emails are going to launch and just use those as a reason to reach out to your customers versus like just saying, hi, I'm here. Do you need something? You know, kind of taking what GK has going on and using that as your, you know, you're giving them something. As a reason that you're reaching out. So again, right now I'll start with, you know, the catalog is out, here's some designs. I went on the design studio and designed my own version of all of the new designs so that I can kind of send those out to customers and say, listen, I coach a I coach a college team, and our team colors are blue and white and light blue. So I basically did all of that color scheme. When I reach out to folks, I'm saying, like, I designed these with my team in mind, but, you know, just for you to see what the new ones look like, you know, here they are. And I've only done that with a few people, but, you know, that'll be kind of my next round of emails, so that they can see all of the new designs and a color scheme that maybe isn't shown in the book, and get them kind of thinking that way if they want to. And again, all of the beginning and the ends of the emails have to do with, like, you know, I'm here if you need me. If this is not on your mind right now, I totally understand. Like, you want to be sensitive to the situation, but at the same time, you know, most people want to get this done and out of the way, and they have the time to do it right now, unfortunately. So, and then the other thing would be, again, for the newer folks, is having that reason to reach out to somebody. So it could be the new tank designs, it could be the new competitive designs, whatever. And I have gotten really positive response from everybody. So I think and you know your customers and what they have going on, and who wants to hear from you and who doesn't, and, you know, trying to gently, you know, put it out there, and sharing designs. What was the other thing I was going to say that I've been doing? I forget, but basically just, you know, I think for me, because I need it written down, just making that timeline of, you know, using the emails that we get on when the GK emails are going to be, and sort of planning out who you're going to reach to, when you're going to reach out to them, and what might be pertinent to them.
That makes sense. Thanks, Kelly. I think I think that's a great message also, as far as aligning with what we have going out, and trying to, you know, coordinate the message so that the customer has the feeling that it's a cohesive message. Everything's running fluidly behind the scenes with this. Definitely important. And, you know, one of the things that we're trying to do, definitely from a marketing standpoint, is share that information out so that you know what to expect as we move forward through this year. So along the same lines, you know, I think one of the things that are pretty common right now is that customers are dealing with a lot of big concerns. You know, on many levels. There's obviously the health, everyone's general health, the health of their gyms as well, the finances, everything like that. And Angie, I spoke with you a little bit about this. Do you want to share a little bit about what you've heard from some of the gym owners that you've spoken with, and some of their concerns right now? Are you on there? Okay. She's not coming through on this, so I'll go through some of the things that we talked about. So, you know, really right now, what we heard, what she mentioned, and what I've heard from several of you, is the things that are top of mind for a lot of gym owners is staying afloat in the current market. I mean, it's about your immediate cash flow. It's just like, you know, for anybody, making sure that they have enough to cover their bills in the interim year. The unknown behind everything of when this is going to end, when things are going to open back up, and they can hold meets, and they can have their gymnasts back in the gym. And then also participation coming out of the gates. Nobody knows what that's going to look like once we get back up and running. So we're dealing with a lot of new realities around this, I think. And on top of that, you know, for a lot of the gym owners, it's about keeping their athletes and their families feeling comfortable and protected, and knowing that the gym is a safe environment, that it's, you know, from a health standpoint, all new things that we haven't really factored in or thought about. So I think some of the important things, some of the takeaways with this, more than anything, is as you're reaching out, as Kelly mentioned, you know, this is a time for us to have softer conversations. It's not about pushing the new line necessarily. I think some of the most important things you can do right now are reach out and to listen to their needs. You know, find out what their pain points are, ask them how they're doing, what you can do to help, empathize with what they're going through, and turn yourself from being really a vendor into a partner. I think that's going to be a critical transition And a lot of you already are in that position, but you know, this is an opportunity for us to further that as well. And then collaborate with them, figure out how you can support them and what we can do. And don't be afraid to come to us with different ideas. You know, we're open to it right now. I think this is a time for us to figure things out and support gyms in any way, shape, or form that we can. So, okay, so if we move on to the next slide here, what can we do right now? So, you know, there's a couple things I want to touch on. Going back to the be prepared, to the four things that Matt mentioned. You know, with the be present, be prepared, be planning, be proactive. I'm going to keep referencing that. So, you know, be prepared, be present, be proactive. I think the digital campaign falls into that. So I wanted to speak a little bit about my experience with this. So prior to joining GK, I was in a different industry, and I had a rep who had a massive territory where it took her about more than 5 hours to drive from one end to the other. And she took great care of her top customers, but really had a hard time getting to some of the mid-level and smaller customers within her region. And so she started to brainstorm different ways of how she could manage that, and she could really, you know, make sure that she was touching as many people as possible on a regular basis, and they became familiar with her. And so, you know, what she did was she started on this path of building an email campaign that turned her from a kind of like a middle of the pack performer to one of my top salespeople year after year. And the way that she did it was really, it's kind of a step-by-step thing, but it's nothing that any of us can't do. So she built out an email database, and she used Constant Contact, which I know probably several of you use, but if you don't, it's worth taking a look at. And she was able to send messages in a timely and appropriate time frame, where, you know, she's delivering messages that are basically, you know, more informational than promotional. When I asked her about it later, you know, she said it was probably 80% informational, 20% promotional, that the promotion would be very soft selling within that message. And, you know, so what she found was that she had a really high open rate of those messages, that people were responding to it, and, you know, she wasn't losing people, and she started to really grow her presence, and she saw her sales, you know, pick up really about 3 to 6 months afterwards, which was, you know, pretty impressive. So, you know, with that, I think one of the major reasons that it was successful also is that it was written in her voice. So it wasn't something that was a corporate message that was like pushed down. There were topics that she covered that were specific to her region and timely in that way. And it's something that, you know, I've worked with a couple of you on developing lists of topics and things, and I'm going to share this out with the group afterwards, because I think this is something that could be really valuable for you to manage and to use as part of your business and as part of your plan for the upcoming year. And so this could be, you know, something as part of the planning and the you know, staying in connection with all the gym owners. This is an easy way to do it, and it expands your reach pretty significantly. So that's, you know, overall, that's kind of like, that was the thought process behind it. And then there were some pieces that needed to be in place in order to set it up. So, you know, one, we talked about the topic. So being informative, supportive, and having some soft selling was definitely important. She had a comprehensive emailing list that she kept and was constantly updating within Constant Contact. So for us, that would be using all the GK contacts that you have, any USAG contacts, any other resource at your disposal, of email lists and those sort of things, to be able to expand your outreach there. She managed that list very closely. So if people said that if people unsubscribed, she took them off the list. If somebody moved, she took them off the list. If somebody moved in, she added them right away. She found that the timing was critical with this. And right now, I think everybody's got a lot of free time, but once things get up and running again, I've talked to a few of you, and we felt like Tuesday mornings are probably the best time, because you have meets over the weekend. Monday, you're getting back into the swing of things. By Tuesday morning, you're probably checking your emails and trying to catch up with, you know, the weekend and probably 4 or 5 days worth of material there. And then finally, one of the biggest things that she did was she added her photo with her signature. And I think that's really important. And it's something, I know we did headshots last year, but if you weren't around for that, I think it's definitely, something to consider, because if you have a massive territory, if you're on the road all the time, these coaches might see you a few times a year, but if they see your picture once a week and you're sending an email out, all of a sudden you're a familiar face when they do come in contact with you, and they feel like they know you and they've been corresponding with you, even though it's a one-way correspondence in most cases with that. So to me, the progress with this that she saw was she doubled her sales 4 consecutive years. So she did, excuse me. She started off as a $200,000 rep. She did 400,000 her next year. She did 800,000 her next year, and she did 1.6 her 4th year. So I'm not guaranteeing that's what we can do, but I guarantee you, if you put this into motion, and I can help you do this, and we've got some things that we can do on the marketing side to support this, but this really has to be an effort that's driven by you, that you'll see incremental growth by doing this. So something to keep in mind. And I think one of the cool things that we did also is we tracked the progress with that. So within Constant Contact, like I said, you can see the open rates, you can see, the number of messages that were sent, the links that were clicked, everything like that. So there's a lot of great information that comes out of that. So, right now as things are slower and people have time, this is a good time to try to set that up and experiment a little bit with something along those lines. Okay, so that's my pitch for the digital campaign from a marketing perspective. Switching gears again, I think one of the other things we can do is, as far as what can we do right now, is try to get a head start on a competitive season. And I know that we're starting to see the market with catalogs, which we went through, and this is really a good time to start having conversations with gym owners and coaches. Corey, I know we discussed this a little bit, Corey Fritzinger. Is there anything you want to add to this as far as what's worked for you, or where are we here? What you took away from today's discussion?
Yeah, sure, of course. So I basically had a couple things written down, but as we have been going through the entire presentation today and everybody's been talking, I'm going to piggyback off of what Matt and Kelly and Drew had said. I believe that Matt's 4 Ps obviously were perfect. One thing that I have done, Kelly emailing out and telling her customers, I know this may not be a priority right now, I think is an amazing thing. But another thing I have done is I've actually called a couple people, and really I'm just like, how are you? And you let them vent. You let them just get things off of their shoulders, and you're calling as a friend instead of a retailer. And I think that gaining a little bit of that trust with them so that they feel comfortable, that they know that, you're not just calling to get a sale, you're really calling to find out like how they as a person are doing, how is their family doing, how are they handling things more on a personal level instead of a professional level during this entire time. And usually at the end of those calls, they're like, thank you so much, we appreciate it, and we'll get in touch with you soon. And I have found that like in the next couple of days, some people it's taken a week, but they've texted me and be like, hey, is your new catalog out yet? And these are people that like I normally probably would only communicate through email with. So I'm kind of building relationships a little bit more that way. One thing that I know that Megan did, kind of like Kelly, is that she sent out a mass email to all her customers with the same message saying, this may not be on your radar right now, but know that here's our new styles. It's coming out soon. Is there anything you want me to do for you? Let's prepare now for later, so that when gyms do start to open, again, this isn't on their plate. It's done because they've already designed what they need. They already know what they need, and they don't have to think about it. They can think about building their program back up. One thing that I actually started doing this year, and obviously because of everything going on, it got cut short very quickly. I made a goal for myself to physically visit and talk to more people in person this year. My first trip was out to Charleston. I went for 3 days. I visited about 9 teams while I was in that area, and it was great. I mean, it was amazing. They were so happy that I was there, and I had another trip planned, and we all got cut off. So, but those teams that knew that I was coming to see them for the next time, we have been in constant communication since then, trying to do new designs for them as well. So just them even knowing that I was thinking about coming out and visiting them was really big. So that's just something to keep on your radar for later, once we're all able to travel again. And then I guess lastly, a big thing that I'm trying to do, and I haven't really talked to a whole lot of people about this yet, but I'm trying to figure out ways and brainstorm ways of how to help teams. How can I say this? Basically, brainstorm ways for them to make money once the gym opens again. So if you have those smaller groups that don't have a pro shop or they don't have room for a pro shop, what are some things that you can put into place to help them make money without having to actually put product in? Is it sending them an order form so that they can lay that out with our new styles that we have, so that the parents can order it? If we're having a digital catalog, maybe there's a way that they can put it on an iPad so parents can scroll through everything and then write down on their order form what they want. So these are things that I'm brainstorming with. I haven't come up with a whole lot of ideas yet. If any of y'all have any ideas, I mean, obviously, please share them with the team, because right now, anything helps. All these teams are just sitting, waiting to get back in the gym. I've seen so many Facebook messages with coaches I know typing with tears in their eyes because they miss their athletes. And so I think that we can use social media that way. We can be sensitive to how they're feeling, but also how can we help you? So these are just kind of the things I've come up with. And like I said, if anybody has any other ideas, please share them with the entire team, because we as a group, as a whole, as a nation, as sales reps, I think this is the time more than ever that we all just need to share as much information as we can to help our gymnastics community.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and flip to the next slide here. So planning for the back half of the year, I think we've touched on a lot of this. You know, obviously we're revising our plans. We're thinking about what we can do to impact the second half of the business. And you know, in writing this, I think there's plenty of things that are out there that we need to overcome. Plenty of hurdles and obstacles that we're all facing. But I think, you know, it's going to come down to the communication. It's going to come down to talking to your customers, finding out what their needs are, figuring out a way to help them in the interim here, and be that support mechanism that they're all looking for. From a prospecting standpoint, you know, that was one of the great things about the digital marketing campaign I was talking about, was it's far reaching. It doesn't just have to be, you know, GK customers. The more gyms that you can reach out to and share, you know, positive, good information and operate that way, the more responsive people are going to be to you. And, you know, I think that's important right now. If we're sending a positive message, even if it's not selling anything for GK, just in the gymnastics community, that's going to resonate, that's going to carry through. So I think that's definitely important. And then finally, it's, you know, get organized. Get organized should probably be at the top of the list, right? When we talk about the 4 Ps of being present, prepared, planning, and proactive, being organized is the critical component with all those. So, you know, what it really boils down to is controlling what you can control. So, you know, what I'd like to challenge you guys to do with your time here while we're all, you know, sitting at home, is to think about a marketing plan that could work for you, whether that's a digital or, you know, how you want to reach out to your customers, reach, you know, prospects, that sort of thing, and write out what you're going to do in the back half of the year, including the marketing plan and what you want to do. So let's say, you know, in some instances, not likely to be the case, but things could open up in 30 days. They could open up in 60 days, could be 90. We don't know. But regardless of when it happens, we need to be prepared. And so if we have a plan of action, if each of you are able to draft up, these are the 4 or 5 gyms that I'm going to the first day that I possibly can, just to give that coach a hug, to talk to him, to reconnect, to do whatever you need to do. That's a great start. And then from there, what are you doing? What are the steps after that? Who are you visiting? And, you know, what sort of communication plan are you putting in place there? And then ultimately what I'd like for you to do is share that plan with me, you know, and so we don't have to have dates associated with this. This can just be, I mean, we don't have we don't know if May 1st things are going to be back up and running, or June 1st, or when it is. But regardless of that, we can put together a plan so that we know week 1, this is what I'm focused on and this is what I'm doing. Week 2, this is what I'm focused on and this is what I'm going to be doing. And just work your way through that. I think that's going to be really helpful for everybody, because that's something that you can control and will help you stay organized and get you on the path to moving forward through the back half of this year. Okay. So takeaways from this meeting. This is, you know, hopefully this has been beneficial for you. I think the things that I'm going to ask of you are to send me 3 things that you felt were especially helpful or important that you heard from today. You know, we covered a lot of things from the product side and marketing, QC, in sales, and also just hearing the, you know, the state of the company and overview from Garisha, I think is always very helpful. If you can also send 3 things that you'd like to spend a little bit more time on or need clarity, I think that would be really helpful as well. It's a way for us to really know where we hit the mark, where we missed, where we need to refocus or clarify, that sort of thing. And then the final thing is sharing your plan with me. You know, as you develop that, I'd love to be a part of, I want to help you develop that and think through how you're spending your time and what you're doing, especially for some of you newer reps. But even for those that have been around for a while, you know, it's easy to go knock on the same old doors and maybe forget about some of the customers that are out there, or write them off as, you know, our competitors' gyms or whatever it may be. But it's always worth a shot. It's always worth outreach at this time to see what's going on and see if we can have some sort of impact or convert some people back to us. So, and again, like within all this, it's a balancing act. I mean, that's what you heard today, is there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of things tied into this. So I'm not saying we're going gung-ho after gyms, you know, as soon as we get off this call. This is about, you know, finding that balance of helping people and, you know, supporting them and helping them, while also, you know, sharing GK and letting them know that we're here for them and we can support them in a lot of different ways. So, okay, I think we're down to the last one here. So again, you know, I appreciate everybody's attention throughout this, throughout the presentations today. Like I said, we are going to consolidate all the questions, so hopefully you guys were keeping track of everything. If you can send all your questions to me by the end of the day, Monday, we'll consolidate those. We'll get together as a team. We'll put together an FAQ that we'll circulate that are the general questions that are asked by Friday. And then for individual questions, specific things, I'll pass those off to the people that appropriately can answer those, and we'll get those addressed as well as quickly as possible. But, you know, this is obviously an unusual sales meeting for this year, to say the least. We wish we could have everybody together. It's always fun to get the whole team together and spend some time and go out to dinner and, you know, goof around and have a little bit of fun. But still felt it was worthwhile to get everybody on the phone to do the video conferencing, to see everybody's faces, and, you know, get things moving for the second half of the year. So I thank you all for your time this morning. And Matt or anybody else, any final words or anything you want to share?
I just appreciate everyone taking their time. I know this is an absolute insane time as dogs bark and kids run around in the background in most of our houses, especially mine at the moment. this is obviously unprecedented. None of us have ever been through anything like this, but I appreciate this team staying together. I appreciate you guys staying in contact. And please continue to just reach out to us if any questions, any concerns. We will get through this. And I do know there's some concerns that we'll address. In the FAQ. No questions off limit in the FAQs. That's just one thing I wanted to express as well. If there's anything that you want to know, please ask. I think what's important to us is that we're transparent in these moments, that we're honest in these moments. And I think that's a really important component of the communication between Reading and the entire country. So, and for those of you who are new to the team, we truly excited to welcome you. And for you veterans, I just want to thank you again for everything that you do for us. You are the lifeblood of this organization. I don't say that lightly. You guys are out there in a way that none of us are. And every time I get to see you guys, I just appreciate what you do. And it's a great reminder of what makes up this company. And that is you guys. So I'm very proud to be a part of this team with you. And I just want to thank you guys again for everything that you do. And look forward to talking soon. I hope everyone stays safe and healthy.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate you taking the time. And as Erica mentioned, we'll post this. We'll have the video as well as what else do we have, Erica? There's a couple things that are going up that'll be on the Dropbox, right?
Yep, so we'll send out this presentation, Kelly's presentation with the what's new, the recording of today's session, and I'll also be sending along links to access the Dropbox as well as links to both the digital men's and women's catalogs. There's something else in my email that I already have. Oh, and a marketing image that you guys can use on your initial send outs to all of your customers.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Everyone stay safe, and we'll all talk soon.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Quick question.
Bye.
Are we good to send that out now?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Are we good to send out the digital catalog now?
Yes. So I'm going to send that email as soon as I hang up, so you guys have everything you need to begin your outreach. All the styles are online and accessible both on our website as well as having additional images and stuff on the Dropbox too. So you are good to go.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.